Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the latest Flagler weather update. Today is the 17th of September, 2025. And we're going to start off with talking about the tropics. And you're looking at an infrared satellite image of Tropical Cyclone Gabrielle, which is a tropical storm out in the mid Atlantic Ocean. We're going to take a closer look at this and its possible effects, or will there be any effects to us? It's just too early to tell, but let's talk about that. So the first thing I want to point out is like this is where all the thunderstorms are here, but the center of circulation is over here. So it's not super organized just yet. It's undergoing some shear. You can obviously tell that there's kind of clouds going all different directions here and everything. So that is typically a sign of a disorganized system. But National Hurricane Center is faithful that this is going to intensify. So as of the 5 o'clock advisory, it was located. This is a good maybe almost 2,000 miles away from us. So just give you an idea how far away this actually is from us. It's a long way out. So it's by no, not remotely near us at all. And it looks right now, at least through the next 5 or 6 days here, to stay well off to our east here. So this kind of orange shading here, this represents where the tropical storm force winds are. Again, it's a fairly large storm system. We'll take a look at another satellite here in just a moment. But it's forecast to maintain its tropical storm strength at least into the weekend, and then maybe becoming a hurricane when we get into Sunday and Monday, as it possibly might make an approach to Bermuda. Now, keep in mind that this cone represents anywhere the center possibly may go. It does not tell us how wide the storm is. Again, note that the cone is quite narrow here and the winds are quite far from it, especially to the north and east of the center. But to look at the potential for winds, we look at this graphic here, and this gives us the percentage, or basically the chance of sustained tropical storm force winds in any given area. And Bermuda is currently rated in the 30 to 40% chance range of that. So if I were in Bermuda, I would be concerned and I'd be watching this storm. Risk of hurricane force winds right now, that risk is zero at this point. The risk of strong tropical storm force winds right now, they're about a 10% chance of that. So if I were in Bermuda, again, I would be concerned. But again, for us, we're looking in pretty good shape right now as far as Gabrielle is concerned, no matter what it does. Now, as far as rip currents go, now as this storm moves offshore, well offshore, our rip current risk will probably increase. Right now, it's moderate risk here, but there's another system that's going to be affecting our weather that's going to increase the rip currents. It's got nothing to do with Gabrielle whatsoever. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But this is the biggest concern that we'll likely have from Gabrielle. So it's taking a look out here in the tropics. Again, there's tropical cyclone Gabrielle. Now we have two systems here. We got a tropical wave that is currently off right about here. See what this X is? And that may have a very low chance of developing in this area here. You notice there's a second yellow overlay. There's another disturbance over Africa that may have a chance of developing, also a low chance of it when it gets over the far eastern tropical Atlantic. So again, both of these very far away. There's lots of these all through the year. Nothing to worry about right now, but it's always good to pay attention because these things evolve. And as things evolve, we can watch and see if there's going to be anything to be worried about. Now, taking a look at the longer range tropical weather outlook, going to the end of September, there's a low chance of development here in the central tropical Atlantic, low chance of development in the western Gulf. And again, as we go into the first week of October, we maintain a low chance of development over here in the far eastern to central tropical Atlantic, and in western Caribbean into the southern Gulf, we have a low chance of development there as well. So that's where all that stands. And one other image I wanted to show you guys is just let's get to a satellite here. Oh, where'd it go? So yes, this is it. So things got kind of mixed up a little bit. So you can see Gabrielle out here just before the sun sets. Now note here, there's a band of clouds through here. So why is that? Well, that is a front, and that is, just get a closer look. So that is this front that's down here to the south. Now, as we go towards the weekend, that front is going to slowly start moving off to the north. It's going to weaken a little bit, but this high pressure to the north and low pressure to the south is going to increase the chances for showers along the east coast here. And that's going to actually potentially bring us a little bit of unsettled weather as we get into the end of the week and into the weekend. So Overnight tonight and into Thursday, patchy, dense fog. That might be a thing in a few places, especially west of I-95. The moderate rip current risk is going to continue with us. However, as that front pushes to the north, those winds are going to increase along the beaches. So that's going to make for hazardous marine conditions, into the weekend and next week. And then again, if you live in Flagler Beach, if you're in those areas that are known to flood during high tides, we might be dealing with that again early next week. There's a potential for that. And again, our thunderstorm chances start to increase again, especially Friday through Monday. We're going to take a closer look at all of that. And we just talked about the tropics, so I'm not going to go into that right now. So a closer look at our satellite imagery here. So again, we have a stalled front that's to the southwest, a couple disturbances combined with it. Some thunderstorms over here in the southeast Gulf, some thunderstorms near Tampa, some thunderstorms out over the Bahamas. And all of this activity here has been bringing clouds up over us. Now, this front is going to slowly shift northward. And as it does, high pressure to the north, we're going to start to see winds increasing and those precipitation chances increasing along the east coast. So let's talk about temperatures now for tonight. Lows down again, 60s inland, 70s beaches. So again, a little bit cooler. Thursday rather, we're into the 80s, pretty much mid to upper 80s county-wide, mid 80s beaches. And as we get into Friday morning, we're looking at lows generally in the 70s, near 70, well west, mid 70s, upper 70s beaches. And as we get into Friday, see those temperatures starting to edge up a little bit more now into the 80s. And just kind of skipping through here Saturday is still into the 80s here. And kind of consistent temperatures as we go through the rest of the week and into the weekend. Lows in the 70s, highs in the 80s. And by the time we're getting to Monday, temperatures actually maybe chasing 90. So, but still staying rather warm. And maybe just getting to 90 on Tuesday. So we're going to see an upward trend on temperatures. How about precipitation chances? How are we looking with that? So let's take a look at that right now. For tonight, very minimal chance, about a 20% chance of the odd shower tonight. Tomorrow, about a 20% chance of a shower, maybe a thunderstorm. Tomorrow night stays about the same. We get into Friday, we're now about almost getting a 30% chance. We get into Saturday, now we're up to about a 50% chance. We get into Sunday, now we're getting into a 50% chance. We get into Monday, now we're about 50% chance. So the message is those rain chances are going to increase as we go into the weekend and into next week. Doesn't mean it's going to rain the entire time. It just means that the rains will come. You'll get the passing showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. They'll come and go. It won't rain all the time, but there's the chances of getting one increase. Now, as we go the next several days, looking at the winds, max gust tomorrow, about 17 miles an hour or so at the beaches. But as we go into look at Friday, now we're gusting up to about 24, 25. But look at Saturday, we're gusting up into the 30s again along the beaches as we have another little local nor'easter start to set in. Sunday, we are staying about the same, gusting into the 30s at the beaches. So it's going to get a little blustery at the beaches again as it was last weekend. And that's going to kind of stay with us into Monday, and then maybe it starts to weaken a little bit by Tuesday. So that could potentially give us maybe some high water, some elevated tides in the intercoastal waterway during that period of time. Just too early to know specifics to that just yet. So at the beaches right now, moderate rip current risk. Expect those rip current risks to go up to high risk by the weekend. Looking at the water temperature out there, about 75 to 80 degrees. So the ocean temperature has cooled down a little bit. So then you're going to be noticing that too. But again, as we get into Friday and into Saturday, it's going to get quite breezy with gusty winds along the beaches, especially over the weekend as that little localized nor'easter returns. Now, looking at the long-range forecast, this takes us into September 22nd. Look for temperatures to be above normal, precipitation chances maybe about normal for that period of time. When we get into the 8 to 14 day outlook, this takes us to the first day of October. Look for temperatures to be above normal, precipitation chances also above normal. And again, looking at our satellite as we wrap up, again, this front is going to be our main weather player the next few days. Everything out in the tropics stays well off to the east, at least for now. But as this front creeps back to the north, we're going to see the wind starting to kick in along the beaches here. A little bit of squeeze play going on. Those winds will start coming out of the northeast. And we could potentially see maybe some flooding issues. And we'll just take a quick look at the. Let's take a quick look right now, real quick, at the gauges and see how we're doing before we sign off. So all the gauges in the intercoastal waterway and such are actually, you can see that those have come down quite a bit. Bing's Landing, you are down below flood stage now. So, and that's partially because the tides have changed. We're out of the king tides, but they'll be coming back. But also that onshore flow has relaxed. The only places we got high water right now is out here in the west side of the county. Out here, but even that's on its way down. Just getting out of moderate flood stage down to minor, so still in the bottom end of moderate right now. So things are improving out there in the Hawk Creek Basin, and also here at Lake Crescent, we're also starting to see those levels starting to slowly come down here as conditions start to improve with the flooding. So that's going to wrap things up. I appreciate everyone taking time to check in with us. Everybody out there have a great evening, and we will be talking back to you this weekend or near this weekend. Bye-bye now.